Alright, here we are in the first fight of the 2021 DCS tournament. This is me in the F-16 going up against an Ace Mirage 2000C. In this particular case, because I'm flying in this fight, I've left the entire fight in the video. I'm just going to do the highlights for the AI versus AI fights, but in this case, I wanted to show the entire thing. Took some pot shots there at him, just hoping to get lucky because I know this is going to be a difficult fight. The M2000C turns really, really well. I also think that the AI does not have to worry about blackout. I'm not sure about that, but they certainly seem to turn pretty sharply no matter what their speed. Very rarely in this fight was my turn radius smaller than the Mirage. Most of the time it was very, very big compared to the Mirage. Part of that's because I'm trying to keep my energy up. And the Mirage is going substantially slower than me, so in the past I've tried to fight slow against the Mirage, and I think that those big Delta Wing aircraft in real life, I think that they probably should suffer from some lack of maneuverability at low speeds, but here in the sim they don't really seem to have those failings, so it's never really worked for me to go slow against them. You can see there I got myself into a situation where the Mirage was more offensive and I was more defensive, so that was bad. Before that point it was mostly fairly neutral merges. Sometimes I got the advantage and sometimes not, but so I got pretty low and got the Mirage to break off and then tried to turn here into it, but he turned back into me as well, and then I lost sight of him. So I don't know exactly where he is here. I think I may have picked him back up, but we'll find out here in a minute. I don't remember exactly what happened here in the middle of the fight. Doesn't look like I found him. So if I don't see him, I tend to, especially in a guns only fight, I tend to just try to turn gently and climb. I've got a lot of excess power in the F-16, so especially against this Mirage with the way he's been flying, with the way the AI has been flying, I know that I can run away in any direction. It doesn't really matter. So I went fully vertical, looked back over my shoulder, saw a glint, had enough distance that I turned hard. I've got the altitude now, so I can turn hard and bleed off all my energy and get it back real quick. So I came over the top, lost him again. It's really hard to see in DCS for me. So I lost him again, so I thought I would level out and see if I could find him again. Of course, we can see him over there, but right in here I saw him again. He wasn't nearly as high as I thought he would be. I thought he would have climbed up to meet me a little bit more. So I'm trying to dive in on him and get some shots. It's more neutral than I wanted because there was separation, allowed him to come in. So I take some pot shots, just hoping. Got nothing. Now my energy state's still good. I've turned the ticker off at the bottom. I shouldn't have done that so you can see my speeds, but my energy state's good. I'm just still really having trouble turning with him. But here, this is a situation that I don't mind seeing, and against other aircraft that don't turn as well, it probably would have worked. But I can really exchange a lot of energy whenever I see aircraft at that distance and crossing. That way I can really exchange a lot of energy and usually tuck in behind them, but not so with the Mirage. So now we're in a death spiral. And I feel like I've got some angle advantages here, but they're just not panning out. And one thing that I do want to point out is I don't think I'm getting any better at this. I think I'm stuck at mediocre at best, you know. But anyway, we got low enough that he peeled off, and that allowed me to tuck in behind him a little bit. And then we put some smoke on him. So I was going really fast, and I overshot, but I got bullets on him, and then the little bugger decided to continue trying to fight me. So I've got my energy up, I've got speed up, and so I just decided I'll turn with him a little bit, but I'm going to make sure that I stay in front of his gun. I don't want him getting a lucky shot at this point because it's a matter of time. He's going down. So here he is still trying to fight me. And I'm not really turning very hard. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't give him any really good snapshot opportunities, and maybe I can get myself an opportunity. But I could have just ran away straight, I suppose, but do a couple merges. That was more advantageous to him than me. Both of those were. So, but then I saw him pop out, and I'm moving on. So he's going to the losers bracket. I'll move on, and I've got to fight the K-50 next, which shouldn't be too hard as long as I remember it's a helicopter with a little bit of a flexible gun. So we'll see. Alright, now we have the highlights for the F-14 versus the Viggen. And this is about as close to a merge as we had, because the Viggen peeled off to the left and probably dropped his gun pods. They always like to do that. But here, it's not looking good. He's flying more or less straight. He's not even flying as fast as a Viggen could. Of course, the F-14 would be tough to run away from, but the fact that the AI is using his brakes means the Viggen's not going nearly fast enough. So it's just a matter of time now before the F-14 kills him. It's taken quite a bit longer than I suspected it would. Boy, for a highlights video, this is getting boring. Oh, there we go. There's some shots. Wait, what is going on here? What is this? This is the worst marksmanship ever. Looked like a couple of hits there. The ruling on the field was that the F-14 got some hits in. The F-14 does land first, which, if there aren't any hits, that means the F-14 loses. Here comes the Viggen. The Viggen's going to be down second. Again, the ruling on the field was that the F-14 scored a couple of hits. Looks like we're going to go to the instant replay. Okay, let's back it up here. It looked like we saw a couple of hits there in TAC view. Yes, we did. About 1 billion bullets were fired and only 2 hit, but the ruling on the field stands and the F-14 is moving on in the winner's bracket. Okay, fight 3, F-18 Hornet versus the C-101. Already the C-101 has peeled off to his right and has allowed the F-18 to almost tuck in behind him, but that C-101 can turn. So the F-18 isn't really able to maintain the turn. He's still in an offensive position. It's just a matter of staying patient and staying back there at this point. So the C-101 is making some ground, getting some angles. It looks like some improvements to his position. Now the F-18 is definitely in chase. He's inside the turn circle. Oh, now he's slipping outside. We've got an overshoot. Looked like the C-101 wanted to reverse there, but did not. Tightens the turn. Goes down in altitude. Not sure why. Looks like he might have a trick up his sleeve. He's getting some improvement to his angle. He straightens out a little bit, though. Tucks back a little bit harder. The F-18's back in decent position. We got a throttle change there. Looks like he pushed up on the throttle a little bit, but now we've got another overshoot. The F-18 can't quite tuck into position. The C-101's turning really well. The F-18's drifting wider, and the C-101 is going to lose some altitude again. Not really a sustained turn here. Tightens up a little bit. What is he trying to do? How's he going to get out of this fix? Okay. He turns sharp. Wait a minute. Is he pulling a... Pulling a page out of my playbook. There it is. The F-18 flew through the building and didn't explode in the building, but is done nonetheless. In a surprise twist, the C-101 is going to move on. Fight 4, we got a MiG-19 versus an Su-25. Let's see if they will fight each other. Here's the merge. No shots fired. Both are going somewhat vertical. The Su-25 more so than the MiG-19. I don't know how much more of this I can take. It's been 17 minutes of them merging. Nobody has fired a shot yet. The Su-25 is once again not maneuvering very hard. MiG-19 is coming in hot. We're going to have yet another merge with no shots fired, I imagine. The Su-25 isn't even getting his nose on. He doesn't care anymore. Oh, maybe. Maybe he's going to try. It's too late. And yes, there we have another weird, awkward merge with no shots fired. If this keeps up, the MiG-19 will undoubtedly run out of fuel first, I imagine. That's not a guarantee, but we're rapidly approaching 20 minutes into this fight, and nobody's fired a shot yet. The MiG-19 looks like he might have an opportunity if he can keep from overshooting here. The Frogfoot has stopped really trying. He's behaving as if this is his first tournament ever. This is not looking good for the Frogfoot. There it is. Finally, some shots are fired. And the Frogfoot is on fire. Smoking badly. Perhaps still alive. Dropping gun pods. The pilot's alive. The plane is somewhat under control, but it is going down. Fight number 5, we've got the number 13 BF-109 against the number 20 MiG-15. This should be an interesting fight. They're both going vertical. The MiG-15 is really good in a climb. The BF-109, though, turns over pretty quickly. Very good turning fighter, especially against jets. Doesn't quite have the energy to maintain it, but can he roll over and get in position? It looks like it. The question is going to be, can he keep up? He should be able to turn inside this MiG-15's turn circle at all times, but just doesn't have the power to keep up. Here we go again with another loop. We've been at this for 15 minutes. But the MiG is leveling off for some reason. Oh, now he goes up. Maybe he's trying to trick the BF-109 into making a mistake. Doesn't look like it worked. We're getting zeroed in. Getting the lead. Still no shots fired. Is he going to do it again? He's leveling off again. It looks like there went a pot shot. Long distance. Goes back into a climb. We've seen this 100 times. BF-109 can't quite get the lead he needs to get a shot. I'll also point out that when he does have the lead to get a shot in that situation, he won't be able to see the target, so that gets a little bit difficult. Now we're turning. Uh-oh, he straightened out, and there's the shots. He put shots into him. He's going down. Looks like our pilot might be dead. Yes, that is it. MiG-15 goes to the loser's bracket. BF-109 moves on. Here we have an interesting matchup for Fight 6. A MiG-21 versus an A-10C Warthog. The A-10C, good turning as we hit the merge. MiG-21 very fast. Basically a rocket with a pilot strapped on it. Has a lot of advantages with speed, can really create distance. We see the Warthog turning around already, but there's so much distance between them already that the MiG-21 has plenty of opportunity to turn as well. Here we go with another merge. Yet again, another 20-minute fight with nothing happening. Oh, this isn't a merge. MiG-21's pulling up on the A-10's tail. The A-10 turned away from him. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, he pulled the brakes. The MiG's going to fly right by. Is he going to have an opportunity for a shot? There's a couple of shots. No hits. That 30mm cannon would have devastated this MiG, but nothing hit. Now he's going to create some distance. He's got to find a way to get back on his tail. Shouldn't be too hard with his speed. The A-10 just can't keep up back there. Really surprised by that overshoot. Here we go. This is a little bit more of a merge. And nothing again. Cameraman sped that up. We're tired of watching it. It's been 20 minutes. Looks like the A-10 might be going home. He's calling it quits. And now the MiG-21 does not appear to be turning to pursue. Maybe they've called it off. Are they in radio contact with each other? We may never know. Here we go. The MiG-21 is landing. This is going to be a loss for the MiG-21. There he touched down. And the A-10 is still in the air. Our A-10 is going to advance in the winner's bracket. What a boring fight. Okay, Huey versus Fulcrum. I wonder if that UH-1 is going to use the flex sight. Try to get some bullets on the target. We will see. It has that as an opportunity to get an advantage on the faster jets, but they hardly ever use them for some reason. He's dropped a lot of altitude. Our camera's weird. We can't quite see what's going on here. Ah, there we go. Oh, what happened? We're having some camera difficulties. Can't see what's going on. There's bullets out. Oh, and he's dead. That was fast. Didn't even make the merge. And if those poor souls are not on fire, they're certainly dizzy. Fight number 8, F-86 versus P-47. The Thunderbolt has already put some shots out pre-merge. This is his first tournament ever, so maybe some jitters getting to him. Maybe he's trying to do what he can to win the fight early, get some lucky shots. I can't blame him there. He turns really well, but the F-86 has gone vertical and looped around and, oh, put some devastating fire into the Thunderbolt. He's leveled off. F-86 is looping down below. Looks like our prop is feathered and free spinning. Don't know if the pilot is dead or alive. He's still flying straight and level. We've got some damage to the canopy and the fuselage around him. Our Sabre is tucking in behind. This may be bad. Perhaps he's assessing the damage, seeing if further action is required. The Jug is still flying straight and level. Smoking a little bit. Oh, and there we have open fire. Lots of bullets smashing into that jug. It is a tough aircraft, and it is now going down. Oh, good. Our pilot escaped. P-47 going to the loser bracket in its first trip to the tournament, and the F-86 will remain undefeated so far. We have the AV-8B. The Harrier has already dropped his gun pods, going up against the Su-27. You know, the Harrier's been here before. He should know better than to drop his gun pods. He's been in tournaments before this one. He seems to panic every time, though. The flanker is tucking in behind. He's just got to make sure he doesn't overshoot, but the Harrier's got some good speed on him, which is making it a little bit easier for the flanker, to be honest. Flanker's in good position. He should have a shot. He didn't take it, though. He's breaking off. If I would have been in that Harrier, he would have shot me. But for some reason, he just didn't take the shot. Maybe he thought it was too easy, going up against an unarmed opponent. He's peeling off to the left. Are they going to fly back to base? Oh, good. This won't be as disappointing as some of our earlier fights. The flanker is still pursuing. The Harrier is actually maneuvering a little bit, but the flanker's inside the turn circle. Just got to make sure he doesn't overshoot. Pulling pretty hard, tucking in behind him. He's got a potential shot here. Is he going to take it this time? Puts the power on. He's holding position, holding range. Oh, he straightens out. The Harrier barely dodges some bullets there. More bullets. Wing is gone, and the Harrier's going down. There's nothing he can do now, and the flanker will move on in the winner's bracket. L-39 versus the Gazelle. Shots out pre-merge. Got some hits. Now he's just got to stay off of that side with the gun, and he does. The left side of the Gazelle is completely unarmed. The right side, a little bit dangerous. Very rarely fires for some reason or another. The Gazelle is still in the air. Maybe he can angle just a little bit. He needs to be crab flying here a little bit, try to get that gun on target, but it doesn't look like he's going to do it. He's flying straight. We've got shots out. More shots. They hit. Gazelle's on fire. L-39 is safe, and the Gazelle looks to be going down. The fight is pretty much over, but he might salvage this. That is not salvageable. Here we go with the F-15 against the Spitfire. The F-15 did not do well last year. Got taken out by a helicopter. Actually got taken out by poor engine management and a lack of fuel. Let's see what happens here. Here comes the merge. Oh, shots out. Spitfire is going down. He is on fire. The F-15 was not messing around this year. Did not want to go into the losers bracket so early. Making a strong statement here. Spitfire is still sort of flying, but this fight is over. Now we have the Su-33 versus the I-16. The Su-33, very formidable. Third place last year. Lost out to the F-86 and the Ka-50. Very strong contender. The I-16 not so well. Here we have the merge. Shots out. A couple little hits. The I-16 turning gently. Possibly out for a Sunday flight. Su-33 looks to be turning as well. Okay, we're leveling off. We may not have a second merge here. He looks like he might be heading back to base. And there we have it, the I-16 landing. Going to the losers bracket. Su-33 coming in right behind him. Moving on. This fight is probably the most even we've seen yet. The FW-190 versus the P-51. They both go a little vertical. The FW-190 is not climbing as fast as the P-51. The P-51 gets his nose around, though, a little bit faster than the Focke-Wulf. Normally I would have to guess the advantage would go to the FW-190 here, but the P-51 has set himself up to be in pretty good position. He's diving. He's going to tuck in on the tail of the FW-190. This is really good flying by the P-51. The FW-190 is going to maneuver off to the left, try to create some geometric problems. He does a good job staying out of the guns, maneuvering around, but the P-51's still back there. P-51's actually possibly lining up for a shot here. The FW-190 needs to do something. There's shots. A lot of hits. FW-190 loses part of his left wing. He's still flying, though. Looks like he is still able to maneuver. Unfortunately, the Mustang still has some potential shots here that he's working on. Still not shooting again. Not sure what he's working on. There's some more shots. There's a lot of fire coming out. A couple more hits. A little bit more damage. The FW-190 is just absorbing some damage here. The Mustang must almost be out of bullets, but doesn't get many hits there. Overshoots. The FW-190 is just soaking up some damage there. Still flying, still maneuvering. He might be able to turn this around. He's in a more offensive position now. The P-51 has messed up a little bit, perhaps a little over too confident. Definitely overconfident in his ability to aim. Now we're fairly neutral. FW-190 might have taken back a slight advantage there, but has lost it again. And he breaks off to the left. That may not have been a good move. It allows the P-51 to slip in here behind him. To cut off the circle, do a lead pursuit. Oh, he misses again, though. I don't blame him for taking those shots. Looking at it from the FW-190's perspective, the Mustang is tucking back in behind, though. There's the sight you don't want to see over your shoulder. Here comes the fire. Oh, his engine is on fire. That damage is not something you can just fly away from necessarily. F5E versus the J11. The J11 subbing in for one of the FW-190s. The F5E, fairly strong contender in last year's bracket. They're both going almost purely vertical. The F5 looks to be getting his nose around a little bit sooner. Yes, he is. Now he's rolling over, pitching around. Doing a pretty good job here, not necessarily getting around as fast as we'd like to see. He's going to rudder over a little bit, loop around. We'll see if he can tuck in behind. Doesn't look like he'll be able to. The J11 still has some space to bring his nose up. And it looks like we're going to have another fairly neutral merge. The F5 is not quite flying this plane the way a tournament veteran would. Perhaps being the first round, maybe he's got some tournament jitters going on here, as we have another nearly neutral merge. The F5 has a slight advantage there. Now the F5 is in position. The J11's just new to the tournament, not quite flying as well as he ought to be. Allowed the F5 to slip in behind, and we should have a shot soon unless the J11 can force an overshoot. There's a shot. Knocked off the left stabilator. Perhaps some other damage there. Looks like a potential engine fire. The F5's going to move out in front. The J11 could potentially, if he still has control, get in a position where he could shoot. But it doesn't look like he's going to make that attempt. Once again, probably freshman tournament, lack of experience there. If he could have put bullets on the F5 to drop the F5 out of the sky before he did, that would have equaled a win for the J11. But looks like they're both flying back to their corners, and the F5 is going to stay in the winner's bracket this time. All right, we've got the MI8 versus the JF-17, a fan favorite. A lot of fans out there for the Jeff. Pre-merge, we got some shots out. There goes the gun pods. The MI8's on fire. JF-17 is going to fly off into the sunset. MI8 is going down, somewhat controlled. We'll just make sure the crew is okay. I'm not for sure what their exit plan is here. It looks like they are perhaps landing in the water. Maybe they're going to try to put that engine fire out. There they go. They've settled into the sea there. Heads above water. That's good. Maybe they won't drown. They're not going to get that engine fire out that way, though. Going to the losers bracket. As always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next round.